Still got my shit done though. Washed 9 trucks. You know.
Upper arms out, ready to get that stock cut.
Oh, okay. All right, for sure. So this one, we're gonna get, yeah, this right here.
Good job.
So I'm gonna use this to try to draw a nice straight line. I'm just trying to scribe a straight line. So I need to cut. They did a for the torsion bars. They put torsion keys on it, so they raised it about 3 inches. So now the upper control arms, the stock ones, the ball joint would be in a really bad position. So they put aftermarket ones, but the ball joints are all jacked up already now. So we're replacing them with, because these guys do actually go off-roading. Like they don't lift their truck and then drive it on the street all the time. Like these guys actually go off-roading every single day. Like that's where they work at. The landfills. Like they work at landfills and job sites and all that. So they're moving stuff around. So this is the second one actually. Like they'll do like stuff like aftermarket lift kits. You know, everybody's like, oh, for off-roading and this and that. But I think most of those lift kits are like done for like weekend off-roading. They don't want to mess up their truck. These guys don't care. Like they're just like, we got to get to the job site. They have a brand new like truck with 20,000 miles and they're like basically almost rolling it over, you know, like going off-roading kind of stuff. So these guys actually do put like these aftermarket stuff to the test. Yeah, just right down the street. Then these are, I don't know, these are the ones we can get that seem pretty heavy duty. And the cool thing is that these are fully rebuildable. So you can remove this and replace it, the bushings and also the ball joint. You know, so man, they're right down the street. So we figure, you know, when we need to do the services on it, we can always, you know, do that. And they're heavy duty. They're really heavy duty. All right, so this is going in here like this, but their instruction sheet says we have to cut about 1 inch off of this right here for travel, for allowed to travel, so that way it doesn't like hit and bottom out. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just scribing it real quick so that way I can cut it. I'm surprised it's not aluminum. All right, dude, go ahead and cut the zip tie right here and then. I gotta go. I have to.
Let's do it.
He has to. Berto! Is Bert around here? Bert! Bert! We need to take the TCM out so we can get the numbers on the back of the TCM and get the right one and program. So the TCM on this one, it's right above the drive line, right after the transmission. So follow the transmission back, the output shaft of the transmission, like look up there. There's gonna be like a plastic cover, and they're all 10 millimeter nuts. So 2 nuts for the plastic cover, you move that out of the way. And then I think it's like three nuts for the TCM. And then the only thing that's an 8 millimeter is the connector to the ECM. So that's an 8 millimeter. Take that out and then you'll clean the back of it so we can have good pictures for the service riders. Yeah, okay. So yeah. Okay. You're welcome. Yeah, you're good to go. This one is a diagnostics that I have has a code for EGR insufficient flow, EGR excessive flow, and then mass airflow sensor. Yeah, 6.0. Well, they cut it off, right? Like they put a plate in between the EGR cooler, and yeah, so they basically get the EGR cooler out of play. It's like a block off plate. Yeah, so you can get a tune or whatever to get that check engine light to go away. Most of the time that's what they do. Blocking the exhaust. So they're blocking the exhaust from the exhaust manifold, going through the EGR cooler, cools the exhaust gases down before the EGR valve opens and dumps it into the intake manifold. So what you're doing is you're keeping that hot exhaust and soot and all that stuff from going into your intake manifold and gumming all that stuff up. Yeah, they're no good for your engine. Well, I don't want to have an issue with smogging it and all that stuff because we got to smog it. So I would definitely do it if I didn't have to pay an arm and a leg to smog the dang thing, you know, with Uncle Rico, you know, and all that. So I don't know, to me it's not worth it. But to some guys it is, you know, like I would say, like if you're driving your truck, like hauling every single day, mine's a weekend warrior, you know. If you're driving your truck every single day and every single day all that exhaust and soot's making into the intake manifold and then gumming up the intake and, you know, putting heat into the intake manifold, which is supposed to have fresh, cool air, you know, then maybe I would probably do it. We don't do that stuff here though, because that's illegal. Transmission service?
Thermostat, transmission service, spark plugs, and AC line.
Okay. Is that AC all recharging all that?
I haven't done the AC line yet.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
And I'm working, because it's the AC line that comes up here, so I'm working on removing the grill so I have access to the line right now.
Okay. And then did you get the, were you able to, that's coming so you can pressure test the cooling system?
Yes.
All right.
Helen said that it's a complete pressure tester that they're sending, so depending, she said check out the shape it's in. If they said if it's in good shape, we can keep it. If it's beat, we'll send it back.
Like buy it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if it's a whole pressure tester, we don't need that. I'll just go online and get the attachment online at that point.
Okay.
You know. But if that pressure test, it's one of those rentals from O'Reilly's or whatever.
Yep. Yeah.
If you have that, then if you can get it to like finish this job, that's great. But if it doesn't, I'm gonna have to get the attachment for pressure testers online.
All right. We'll do.
This is like the second time they changed their not like Chevy though. The Chevy Duramaxes, the L5Ps, that's a reverse thread cap.
It's
like really? Really?
Why you gotta make it backwards?
Like why? I'm sure the engineers can explain it away. I'm just like I don't know that there's a need for it. RO 9562. Let's see, we have all the little specialty tools. Check this one out right here. The valve. The seat failed. So the valve, the spring is like pushing the valve up higher. So your seat broke or something like that. So the valve's not inside. Was it protruding or no? No, I think it's just time. And plus, like, so these trucks, you know, they're up in the mountains all the time, right? And I don't know that the guys will get in and start them and warm them up a little bit, whatever. And plus, you think about they're out the mountains. So basically, every time they get on the road, they're either climbing or coming down and climbing, you know. So it's never really like steady, flat driving. So you can have some of these trucks that has 60,000 miles, almost barely over 100,000 miles. They have an engine rebuild already and all that. EGR coolers, man. No, I'm just kidding. DPFs. Was it inside the bathroom? Like I could not find it.
I
I left it in the middle. I got it confused with another cart, so it was in the middle of the 2 cars, pretty much.
The middle of the 2 cars?
Yeah, in the middle.
So not by the bathroom?
No.
Oh, gotcha.
Sorry
Okay, that makes sense. And cylinder number 1, cylinders 5 and 6, and these are the ones that are puking. So this is a high pressure oil rail. This goes on top of the injector, so each individual injector gets high pressure oil delivered from this rail. So these are the outlets. This would be the inlet right here. The high pressure pump makes a high pressure oil, sends it through here, and then the oil comes out of here, goes into the injectors, Huey style injection system. So it uses high pressure oil to get the injectors to function. So a lot of these, you'll find these on 6.0s as well. That's a lot of early Caterpillars. Those, I think Caterpillar was the first one who started doing that. But these pucks, there's high pressure oil in here. Sometimes they leak in between there. So like it seems like we're having that issue here. And so we'll replace these pucks, put it back on, and make sure we don't have, because it's right now it's crank, no start, because there's a bunch of oil just coming through here. O-rings are good, so only other thing it could be is the puck. Oh, you take the valve cover off. You make sure all the coolant, all that stuff's connected, and you start the truck or you crank the truck or start the truck with the valve cover off. So you'll look for excessive return of oil out of these. Sometimes the excessive return could be an injector returning way too much oil, and that kind of skews with the pressure. Sometimes excessive return could be these pucks right here. In my experience, these pucks are rarely ever the issue. It's usually the injector, but in this case we're having the oil come out of like this area right here. Anyway, so I'm gonna take this special tool right here. You can find it in your local toolbox. So it's just a socket from Harbor Freight, one that you don't use very often or whatever. This one's a 13/16. And then you get the size nut that this is right here. Well, I welded it on there just so I can get these off. Or you can buy the actual tool online. Here's all the oil in there. And it's easy to tell if these are leaking from here, like it'll be coming out of here, this area right here. Then maybe it's just this O-ring, but most of the time it's not. Most of the time they'll leak out of in there. Yeah, I'm just doing those two. Those two are the ones that are just puking. You start cranking it. You start looking for base oil pressure. Once you have base oil pressure, you're good. You're moving oil through the engine. Once you have that base oil pressure on your gauge, then you're supplying oil to the high pressure pump, and then a couple cranks after that, usually you should get it to start firing it up here, the oil. But when we're cranking, usually it takes a while to crank and actually start, but you usually can tell like, okay, this is cranking a little too long, so you start inspecting to see if maybe you messed up, maybe you pinched this O-ring right here, maybe you rolled one of these going into the injector, whatever. This thing's pretty heavy, so something can happen at some point. But in this situation, we had only these two right here. It's just a cascade of oil just coming down, because we're trying to figure out if this is actually the issue. So I'm not going to replace all 6 and be like, oh yeah, and what if it is the injectors, right? What if the injector is actually returning a bunch more? Then we'll leave these 2 and get some injectors under warranty, but if we do all of them, then so if these 2 actually do fix it, then we have no problem taking that rail back off and then just selling a whole set of them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to just sell something that I'm not, it's kind of a diagnostics process too, so. All right, now we'll put it back into the truck, crank it, and then just make sure that if it starts, then we know all that's good. So we'll do the rest. If not, then we know our injectors are returning too much, brand new injectors, which we've been having trouble with these injectors lately.